When people talk about hard times, they speak as if something went wrong, as if life made a mistake. But looking back at my own journey, I understand now, nothing went wrong. Hard times were the lesson. They were the teacher I did not ask for, but the one I needed. When life is easy, you stay comfortable. When everything is smooth, your character stays small, fragile, untested. Ease makes you polite, but pain makes you honest. I remember receiving rejection after rejection. School said I was not good enough. Jobs said I was not suitable. Even KFC rejected me while accepting everyone else at that time. It felt humiliating. I felt embarrassed standing in front of others who were chosen while I was ignored. But today, I can say this clearly, I learned more from those rejection letters than from any classroom I ever entered. Failure became my textbook. Pain became my professor. Comfort is very dangerous. Comfort whispers lies. It tells you that you are special, that you deserve success without struggle, that someone else is responsible when things don't work out. Pain does the opposite. Pain tells you the truth. It shows you your weaknesses. It forces you to improve or disappear. Hard times don't care about your excuses. They ask only one question: will you grow or will you quit? People often say they want success, but what they really want is comfort with rewards. That combination does not exist. Kings are not trained in peaceful moments. They are trained in storms. When everything is against you, when nobody believes in you, when the world is silent, this is where strength is built. This is where identity is formed. Hard times shape how you think. They teach patience. They teach humility. They teach resilience. Failure is not punishment. Failure is preparation. The world only remembers doers, not talkers. And hard times turn talkers into doers. If your life feels heavy right now, don't curse it. Learn from it. Because pain is not here to break you. Pain is here to teach you how to become a king. Failure is very honest. It does not care who you think you are. When you fail publicly, something painful happens before anything else. Your ego dies. And I know this pain very well. When you are rejected again and again, people stop listening to your excuses. They stop praising your potential. Suddenly you are alone with the truth. At that moment, you realize how much of your confidence was borrowed, not earned. In my early years, I wanted to look smart. I wanted people to believe in me. I wanted approval. But failure took all of that away. When you fail enough times, you stop pretending. You stop protecting an image. You stop lying to yourself. And strangely, this is freedom. Because when your ego is gone, fear becomes smaller. You have nothing left to lose. Hard times remove fake confidence. They burn it away. What remains is real ability, real discipline, real hunger. This is why failure is necessary. Success too early is dangerous. It feeds ego before skill. Failure, on the other hand, humbles you before it empowers you. Discipline becomes the bridge between goals and accomplishment only after ego is removed. I've seen many people fail once and quit, not because the failure was too big, but because their ego was too fragile. They cared more about how they looked than who they could become. Hard times don't allow that luxury. They force you to rebuild yourself from the ground up, slowly, quietly, honestly. When you have nothing to protect, you become very dangerous. You stop chasing validation. You stop explaining yourself. You stop caring about applause. This is when true growth begins. Failure is a stepping stone, but only if you step on it instead of sitting on it. The world rewards results, not excuses, and hard times are the only environment where ego cannot survive. Kings are not loud. They are grounded. They are shaped by humiliation, sharpened by loss, and strengthened by repeated failure. If failure is breaking you right, now, let it. Because what comes after ego dies is strength. And that strength is what builds. Kings. Comfort feels good, but comfort is a quiet enemy. When life is easy, discipline becomes optional. You wake up when you want, you work when you feel like it, and you quit the moment things become inconvenient. I have seen this many times. Talented people, smart people, people with big dreams, stop not because they failed, but because life asked them to be uncomfortable. Comfort gave them permission to walk away. In my early days, nothing was comfortable. No money, no support, no guarantees. At the time, I thought this was bad luck. But now I understand it was protection. Comfort would have made me careless. Comfort would have made me lazy. When you are comfortable, excuses sound reasonable. When life is hard, excuses sound foolish. Hard times force you to take responsibility, whether you like it or not. Easy lives produce loud excuses. People blame the economy, the system, their family, their timing. They talk a lot but move very little. When pressure arrives, they disappear. Hard times do the opposite. They expose you. They ask you a simple question: who are you when nobody is watching and nothing is guaranteed? That answer decides everything. I've watched people quit the moment they felt tired. Not broken, just tired. That is not weakness of ability. That is weakness of character. Comfort trains you to avoid pain. Hard times train you to face it. This is why kings are forged by pressure, not praise. Praise makes you comfortable. Pressure makes you capable. The world only remembers doers, not talkers. And comfort creates too many talkers. Hard times demand action. They don't wait for motivation. They don't care about your mood. They push you forward even when your confidence is gone. That is where real strength is built. If your life feels heavy, good. If things are uncomfortable, good. It means you are being tested. Comfort creates followers who complain. Hard times create leaders who endure. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. And discipline is only built when comfort is taken away. This is how weak men are exposed and how kings are made. That rejection hurts more than failure. Failure at least gives you a reason. Rejection gives you silence. No explanation, no feedback, just a closed door. I know this feeling very well. When I was rejected again and again, people didn't tell me how to improve. They simply said no. And in that silence, I was forced to listen to myself. When nobody believes in you, something uncomfortable happens. You must decide whether you believe in yourself or not. At first, I doubted myself. I asked the same questions many of you ask now. Am I good enough? Am I too late? Am I dreaming too big? But after enough rejection, those questions lose their power. You stop asking others for permission. You start creating your own answers. Every no sharpened my vision. Rejection removed distractions. When all doors are open, you don't know which one matters. When doors close one by one, the path becomes clear. Hard times clarify your mission. You stop chasing approval and start chasing progress. Vision is born when options disappear. People think vision comes from confidence. That is wrong. Vision comes from struggle. When you are rejected, you are forced to think deeper, work harder, and see further than others. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity, but rejection is what forces preparation. Without rejection, I would have stayed small, safe, and ordinary. Most people avoid rejection because it hurts their pride. They would rather live comfortably confused than painfully clear. But kings are willing to be misunderstood. They are willing to walk alone before others follow. Rejection teaches you how to stand without applause. If you are being rejected right now, do not beg the door to open. Ask yourself what this rejection is trying to teach you. The world is not pushing you away. It is pushing you inward. That is where vision lives. And once vision is clear, rejection loses its power. This is how hard times don't just test you, they guide you. And this is how kings learn to see what others cannot. Many people wait for motivation. They say, when I feel ready, I will start. I used to think like this too. But hard times taught me a different lesson. Motivation is emotional. It comes and goes like the weather. Discipline is different. Discipline shows up even when you don't feel strong, even when you feel afraid, even when you feel tired. And hard times don't care how motivated you are. They only respect discipline. When my life was unstable, when nothing was working, I didn't wake up inspired. I woke up worried. I woke up unsure. But I still had to move. Hard times forced structure into my life. I had to create routines because chaos was everywhere. That is when I learned something very important. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Without it, dreams stay cheap. Comfort allows you to negotiate with yourself. Maybe tomorrow. Thus today I will rest. Hard times remove negotiation. They demand consistency. You must show up even when the fire is real. This is why struggle creates leaders and comfort creates followers. Followers need motivation. Leaders rely on discipline. I've met many people who are very inspired but very unstable. They feel powerful one day and disappear the next. Hard times break this pattern. They teach you emotional control. They teach you to act without applause. When you are disciplined, you don't need excitement, you need direction. Motivation feels good, but discipline feels heavy. That is why most people avoid it. But kings are built in heaviness. They learn to move forward even when every step feels difficult. They don't wait for the right mood. They create results first, and confidence follows. The world only rewards those who keep going. Not the most talented, not the most excited, the most consistent. Hard times teach you this lesson early. They train you to do the work when no one is watching. When motivation dies, discipline remains. If you are struggling right now, stop waiting to feel ready. Start building discipline in small actions. Show up daily. Do the boring work. Because motivation is temporary, but discipline builds empires. And kings are not driven by feelings. They are driven by commitment. Hard times are like a mirror. They do not change people, they reveal them. When pressure comes, some people complain louder and some people become quieter and stronger. I have seen this again and again. The same situation breaks one person and builds another. The difference is not talent, luck, or intelligence. The difference is how they respond to pain. When life became difficult for me, I noticed something very clearly. Some people around me only talked about problems. They blamed the system. They blamed timing. They blamed other people. They were always waiting for conditions to improve. Others said very little. They focused on what they could control. They adapted. They worked. Hard times drew a line between these two types of people. This is the uncomfortable truth most people don't want to hear. Pain does not make everyone stronger. Pain only strengthens those who take responsibility. The rest use it as an excuse. They say, life is unfair, and stop moving. But the world does not reward sympathy. It rewards strength. It rewards those who keep building while others are explaining. I learned that winners and losers often start in the same place. They face the same obstacles. They experience the same rejection. But their mindset is different. One asks, why is this happening to me? The other asks, what is this teaching me? That one question changes everything. Hard times force you to answer it honestly. Kings are recognized by how they respond to suffering, not by how they speak when things are easy, but by how they act when everything is heavy. Complaining feels good for a moment, but it leads nowhere. Building feels hard, but it leads forward. The world only remembers doers, not talkers. If you are struggling right now, look closely at your response. Are you using pain as fuel? Or are you using it as an excuse? Hard times will not wait for your decision. They will move on without you. But if you choose to grow, they will sharpen you. This is where the divide happens. Quiet discipline on one side, loud excuses on the other. Hard times decide which side you belong to. And kings are always found on the side of responsibility, endurance, and action. People love success stories, but they skip the suffering part. They want the ending without the process. That is why stories like Thomas Edison are repeated again and again, because they hide a hard truth inside a simple lesson. Edison failed thousands of times before the light bulb worked. Thousands. Imagine the embarrassment. Imagine the doubt. Imagine the voices saying, stop, this is not for you. But those failures were not delays, they were training. I remember hearing this story when I was younger, and at first it sounded inspirational but distant. Later, after my own failures, I understood it differently. Edison was not becoming successful while failing. He was becoming strong. Every failed attempt hardened his patience. Every rejection sharpened his belief. Hard times did not stop him. Hard times shaped him. That is why greatness came later. It had someone strong enough to carry it. The same pattern exists everywhere. Steve Jobs was removed from the company he built. People say it was a tragedy, but that humiliation refined him. It forced him to rethink, rebuild, and return stronger. Failure came before greatness, not after. This is the rule, not the exception. The world just edits out the painful chapters. Hard times are not a sign that you are on the wrong path. Very often they are proof that you are early. Failure is a stepping stone, but only if you keep stepping. Most people sit down on failure and call it fate. Kings stand up and call it training. I failed more times than I succeeded in the beginning. People laughed at my ideas. Investors said no. Friends doubted me. But every failure removed weakness from my thinking. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity, and failure is what forces preparation. Without hard times, you are not ready when opportunity arrives. Greatness demands repeated humiliation first. This is uncomfortable, but it is necessary. If you cannot endure being misunderstood, rejected, and embarrassed, you cannot carry responsibility later. Hard times build the capacity to lead. So when failure shows up, don't ask, why me? Ask, what is this building in me? Because every king you admire was once a beginner being tested. Fire comes before the crown. That is how hard times build kings. Hard times attack your emotions before they attack your plans. When life feels heavy, fear rises first. Anger comes next. Self-pity follows closely behind. I know this very well because I lived it. In my early struggles, I would feel frustration boiling inside me. I would be tempted to lash out, to quit, or to blame someone else. And I realized quickly, if I let my emotions control me, I would lose long before I failed. The first battle is always in your mind. I learned that calm minds survive chaos. When everything around you is collapsing, when doors close, when people doubt you, the ability to stay steady is power. Kings are not those who react the loudest. They are those who act the smartest. Emotional control is not weakness. It is strength disguised as patience. It allows you to think clearly, to see opportunities where others see obstacles, and to respond rather than react. During my early career, investors rejected my ideas. Partners doubted me. Employees questioned me. Every day was a test of patience. I felt the anger, the anxiety, the urge to scream, but I had to master it. I had to learn to breathe, to observe, to wait, and then to act with precision. That discipline of the mind became my hidden weapon. Without it, no strategy, no innovation, and no persistence could have carried me forward. Most people are defeated by their own emotions before the world has a chance to touch them. Complaints, arguments, impulsive decisions, they all come from failing to control feelings. But when you master them, you become untouchable. Calmness under pressure is a skill few possess, but it is the difference between someone who survives and someone who rules. Hard times will always try to steal your peace. They will attack your confidence, your patience, and your mind. But kings are trained to stay quiet while others panic, to act while others freeze, to decide while others argue. Emotional control is not taught in schools, but it is learned in struggle. And it is one of the most powerful tools hard times give you. When you survive hardship alone, something shifts inside you. You stop needing validation from others because you've already proven to yourself that you can endure. I remember those early years when I had almost nothing. No money, few supporters, constant rejection. Every day felt heavy, every setback personal. At first it crushed me, but over time I realized that surviving those moments was teaching me something no classroom or mentor could. The value of trusting myself. Hard times teach self-reliance in a way comfort never can. Suffering forces honesty. It forces you to face your limitations, to accept your weaknesses, and to confront your fears. You cannot run from yourself. When life is hard, there is no hiding. And in that confrontation, respect for your own strength grows. You learn that you are capable of far more than you imagine. The confidence that comes from enduring struggle is different from confidence given by praise. It is earned, not borrowed, and it cannot be taken away. I have seen many talented people crumble because they sought external approval. They worked too be liked, to be admired, to be understood. But admiration is fleeting. Hard times do not care who notices you. What they care about is whether you can persist, adapt, and act even when no one is watching. That persistence builds a quiet power. It builds kings. The world will always test you. Opportunities may come late, doors may stay closed, and rejection may visit repeatedly. But each time you rise, each time you continue despite the pressure, you reinforce your own worth. You stop fearing failure because you know you have survived worse. You stop needing applause because you recognize your own value. That is strength that cannot be taken. Kings are not born from comfort or praise. They are born from trials, from nights of doubt, from moments when quitting seemed easier than continuing. Hard times demand that you earn your self-worth. And when you do, you carry it like armor. That armor allows you to act boldly, to take risks, and to build without fear. And that is why suffering does not destroy. It refines, strengthens, and creates the foundation for greatness. Hard times are not punishments, they are invitations. They are invitations to rise, to endure, and to become more than what you thought possible. I know this because I lived it. When I started, people laughed at my ideas. Investors rejected me. Friends doubted me. Every door seemed closed. At the time, it felt like life was against me. But looking back, I see that life was not against me. It was preparing me. The fire was training me to become a king. Most people run from struggle. They seek comfort, safety, and easy approval. And that is why so few lead. The world is full of people who talk about dreams but are unwilling to endure the discomfort necessary to realize them. Kings are different. Kings are willing to step into the fire when others step back. They embrace struggle because they understand its purpose to shape strength, sharpen judgment, and clarify vision. If life is hard for you right now, do not fight it or curse it. Accept it. Lean into it. Learn from it. Every obstacle, every rejection, every moment of discomfort is a teacher. It is molding your mind, your character, and your resilience. Hard times remove the weak and reveal the capable. They separate those who will lead from those who will follow. This is how kings are identified even before they rise. I have been through countless failures, misunderstandings, and humiliations. And each one taught me patience, focus, and perseverance. I would not trade those hardships for comfort, because without them, I would not be prepared for what comes next. Life tests you first, rewards you later. Fire does not destroy you, it tempers you. The hardest seasons in life are the workshops where kings are made. Remember this: comfort creates followers, struggle creates leaders, and fire creates kings. If you are facing difficulty, it is not a sign that you are weak, it is proof that you are being trained for greatness. Embrace the fire, endure the trials, rise stronger than you were before. Hard times do not just challenge you, they create you. That is the secret of kings. The crown is not given, it is forged. And the fire is the forge.